I'm really proud of Samford University. Doc, I appreciate the job you have done and the people that you have hired. Thank you for letting me be in your Hall of Fame along with these other wonderful people. My great-grandson, one of my great-grandsons, about 5 years old, was visiting Ann and I, and he asked me, "Granddaddy, how old are you?" I said, 87. He started counting. He said, "Did you start with one?" Now I'm going to talk about Howard College, okay? But that's Samford, but I keep thinking about Howard College. My mother went to Howard College. My daddy went to Howard College. They didn't graduate from there, but they attended there. I went there, and my wife Ann went there, you know. Of course, I was the head football coach there back in '59. Then my son Terry became the head coach later. My son Jeffrey and Terry and my son-in-law Jack Hines all coached at Samford University, and we're proud of that. You know, in my coaching career, I had 6 different jobs. I coached 57 years. I had 6 different jobs. 2 of them were at the same school, and 2 at Samford, Howard, then 2 at Florida State, 2 terms there, you know. But I wouldn't swap the 4 years I had at Florida State for anything in the world. Now, when I finished high school, I had to go to Alabama. Back in those years, Alabama Auburn did not play. They didn't play. Auburn wasn't called Auburn. They were API, Alabama Polytechnical Institute. You know what? So anyway, I was more familiar with Alabama and just had to go there. So I graduate in January, I go down to Alabama. I get word, my roommate was Paul Crumley, who lived in Birmingham. He goes to Birmingham one weekend, I stay home at school, you know, like all us good students did. He goes home to Birmingham, he comes back, he says, "Bobby, I thought you were going steady with Ann Estock." I said, "Yeah, I am." He said, "Well, I saw her on the streetcar last Friday night with Shorty White." Now, Shorty, I've known Shorty all my life. But he went to Phillips, I went to Woodlawn. We played against each other, you know. But dadgummit, Ann found out I'd been doing something, and so she let old Shorty date her, you know. Well, anyway, so I said, "I'm gonna marry that girl. This thing's getting out of hand." So I called her on the phone. I got up the nerve. I called her on the phone one night down in Tuscaloosa. Ann was still in high school at Woodlawn. She answered the phone. I said, "Ann, will you marry me?" She said, "Yes, yes. Who is this?" That was 68 years ago, by the way. 68 years ago. Every time I pass one of my every time I pass one of my 16-year-old grandchildren, I say, "Oh, don't. Ann was 16 when I married her." I waited 2 dadgum years. Of course, that was an Alabama thing back then. That's the way we did it in Alabama, you know. Of course, Alabama's grown up now. Anyway, here was my affiliation with Samford and Howard. At the age of 5, my family moved out to Eastlake. Our house was at the foot of the hill where Where did I go to school? Oh, yeah, Howard. Howard's football field's at the top of the hill there, and I lived down here at the bottom of it. So every day when I went to school, I had to walk by the football field, down around Causey Gym, down all the way across the campus to the library, take a right, go down behind the science building, down between the tennis courts, get to my school. Then afternoon, come right back, back around back across the campus by the football. And the football team be practicing. I fell in love with it. I was always around it. That's the only way. Why did I go into coaching? I don't know. Except I was always around it. And I want to tell you who got me started. Howard College got me started. I played my last ball game. And the athletic director at Florida, at Howard College, came up to me and said, Bobby, if you go get your master's, we'll hire you next year as assistant coach. So I went up to Peabody and got my master's degree, and he hired me back there, And that's where I started my I didn't plan on that. My dad had a real estate company. He was doing well. He wanted me to come there with him. But I got a job, And then I got another job, and another job, another job. I got 6 jobs in my career and did not apply for any of them. I didn't apply. Now, I applied for some I didn't get. But the ones I got, they asked me, So I was blessed. God blessed me, and I really have tried to do my share of what I think God put me here for. I brought his guest tonight. Larry was a teammate of mine at Howard. He played football, basketball, baseball, was captain on the football and the basketball team. Bill was my center at Florida State. All them bad snaps I got, there he is right there. And then, of course, Johnny Howell played defensive end for us, and his wife Betty and Ann were both cheerleaders there at Samford at the same time I was there, So
Betty was Miss Howard.
Yeah, Betty was Miss Alabama, darling. Give her credit, baby. She was Miss Alabama, 1952. We were proud of her, as usual. But anyways, I'm going to end with this right here. When I got into the Alabama Hall of Fame, I read this poem. When I got into the Florida Hall of Fame, I read this poem. When I got into the National Hall of Fame, I read this poem, and I'm going to read it to you. Every time I get in the Hall of Fame, I'm reading this sweet thing. It's called God's Hall of Fame. To have your name up there is greater yet by far than all the Hall of Fames down here and every man-made star. This crowd on earth, they soon forget the heroes of the past. They cheer like mad until you fall. That's how long you last. I tell you, friends, I would not trade my name, however small, if it's written there beyond the stars in that celestial hall, for any famous name on earth or glory that they share. I'd rather be an unknown here and have my name up there. Thank you very much. Yes, sir. That's yours. That's yours. You can give it to Ann. She earned it. My favorite quote from Coach